The pandemic caused huge delays at Ontario's Landlord and Tenant Board, and some landlords say it's led to some tenants abusing the system.
If a tenant moves in and refuses to pay the rent, in many cases, trying to have them evicted could take as long as a year. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Nathan and Michelle, a Toronto woman says she became concerned when her tenant stopped paying the rent earlier this year. She then found out the tenant has done this before with another landlord. Now she's worried she could lose her home. The landlord of this Mississauga home says the tenants inside paid first and last month's rent when they moved in. They paid one more month and then stopped paying.
Why are you recording me?
The landlord has complained that you're not paying your rent.
I'm one small landlord with one property.
Tosheg Roshankar owns the home, is a single parent who also cares for her mother. She says she's owed $13,000 in rent and utilities. She became more concerned when she found out her tenant, Shasteven Reid, and her sister, Shironi Tynes, had an eviction hearing earlier this year after failing to pay their former landlord almost $10,000.
I learned about the whole patterns. They get into a tenancy agreement, pay the first and last, and stop paying with various reasons.
We tried asking Reid about allegations. She is a professional tenant, but she didn't want to speak with us.
Well,
the landlord says that you're not paying your rent.
Get the camera on my face.
Okay. Advocates for landlords say there are so many delays at the Landlord-Tenant Board that if you get a tenant that decides not to pay rent, they could still be in your home for as long as a year.
You can expect to wait 10 months before a hearing date, and the tenant does not have to pay rent during that time. They do have to pay rent during that time, but they won't because they're using the system to their advantage.
A group advocating for small landlords says professional tenants should face eviction hearings right away.
If you run a tenant's name and you see that this is number 3, that they're being brought to the LTB for an L1 application, let's bring that person to the front of the line so we don't have another landlord victim.
In a statement, the Landlord and Tenant Board said processing times are longer than we wish them to be. New and adjourned matters are currently being scheduled on average within 7 to 8 months. Roshankar says she can't wait much longer.
I have no idea at this point how am I going to fund her free accommodations.
And the board says it's trying to add staff and shorten wait times for hearings. The landlord group says some landlords are forced to walk away from their properties because they can't sell them and they can't force the tenant to move out. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.